Deep in the basement of an old dilapidated movie theater, an unidentified box of dust keeps the sinister secret of the cursed film. Legend has it that this clip, which contains a film known as The Devil's Eye, carries a deadly curse that brings horror and death to anyone who dares to watch it. Many years ago, the obsessive story of The Devil's Eye spread like a forest fire. The film was shown in only a few cinemas and, wherever it went, it was followed by a tragedy. The people who watched the film disappeared without a trace, their fate remained a mystery, from which the hearts of those who heard this story froze. Decades later, a group of enterprising filmmakers stumbled upon a forgotten legend. Attracted by the charm of forbidden knowledge and intrigued by horror stories, they dared to extract the cursed coil from its secret storage place. Ignoring the warnings of those who knew the history of the cursed film, they decided to film it as a tribute to the classic horror genre. In bad weather, the doors of the cinema opened with a creak, inviting brave but unsuspecting spectators inside. Excitement floated in the air as the light dimmed and the projector buzzed, casting flickering shadows on the screen. The film began, and the audience plunged into a dark and confusing story about demonic obsession and supernatural horror. As the film continued, the line between reality and the cursed film began to blur. The shadows danced along the walls and the murmur of long-forgotten voices echoed in the theater. In the film, the characters come to life, escaping from their celluloid prison and traveling to the real world. Panic broke out when the spectators realized that they were trapped in this nightmare, surrounded by the very horrors they had witnessed. The obsessed characters wandered through the aisles, their eyes shone viciously. Screams of horror filled the air as onlookers became helpless pawns in a scary survival game. Despair fueled their desire to flee. Some tried to break through the doors of the theater, but they found that they were firmly locked, impenetrable, as if held by an otherworldly force. Others sought refuge in the screening room, hoping to find a way to stop the playback of the cursed film. As the night wore on, the line between the movie and reality became more and more blurred. The characters of The Eye of the Devil have become more tangible, their presence has become terribly tangible. They played with their victims, tormenting them with the darkest fears, feeding on their horror. A small group of survivors, driven by sheer determination, dared to venture into the labyrinth of the theater's corridors. Guided by snippets of information and the sparkling light of their bravery, they discovered an old projection booth where the cursed scroll scrolled. With trembling hands, they were looking for a way to stop the relentless cycle of filming the film. They dismantled the defective mechanisms of the projector, hoping to break the link between the cursed reel and the nightmare that engulfed their lives. Suddenly, the film broke, the cinema plunged into darkness and a terrible silence reigned over the building. The sinister presence dissipated and the obsessed characters disappeared, returning off the screen, panting. The survivors came out of the depths of the cinema, their minds were mutilated by the horrors experienced. The cursed film was destroyed, its meanness finally disappeared, but the legend of the damned film continues to live on, being a chilling reminder from the soul that some stories are better not to tell. The old cinema is an abandoned and obsessive remnant of the horror that it once inflicted on unsuspecting souls. And those who are lucky enough to survive this ordeal bear the weight of their destiny, a rowing experience perpetually haunted by the distorted images that once danced on the Devil's Eye's screen.
The big cinema rose majestically in the heart of the city, its tent shone brightly against the background of the night sky. The release of the new horror film Revenge of the Ghost has attracted crowds of eager moviegoers. But they did not suspect that in the walls of this seemingly ordinary theater an insidious presence was hiding, ready to bring down their horror. Among the visitors began to spread rumors of strange incidents. Some claimed to have felt an inexplicable chill in the air, while others swore they had seen a dark figure sitting in the back row during the screenings of Ghost Revenge. Rumors of a ghost moviegoer spread quickly, but many dismissed this as nothing more than an urban legend. As the shows continued, the experiences became more and more disturbing. People watching the film reported vivid nightmares that haunted them during their waking hours. Sleepless nights and ruthless paranoia undermined their existence. They became shadows of themselves. Their lives were absorbed by fear and uncertainty. Amid the growing concern, a curious journalist named Sarah showed a keen interest in the dark reputation of the theater. She began working in the theater. She unearthed forgotten stories of tragedies, mysterious disappearances, and a mysterious figure known as the Phantom Moviegoer. Armed with her determination and a skeptical researcher of the paranormal named John, Sarah has embarked on a perilous journey to discover the truth. Their first step was to attend the screening of the film Revenge of the Ghost and feel the presence of the ghost firsthand. When the lights went out and the movie started, Sarah and Jonah had a feeling of embarrassment. The whispers echoed throughout the theater, their hair on the back of their heads stood up. The eyes nervously rushed to the back row, but the ghost remained elusive, hidden in the shadows. Determined not to let fear swallow them up, Sarah and John began to dig deeper. They interviewed the employees, examined the old files and searched for those who had personally met the ghost. Their investigation revealed a disturbing trend. The disappearances of moviegoers coincided with the screenings of the film Revenge of the Ghost. Their relentless search for the truth, Sarah and John have discovered a secret passage under the cinema. She led to a secret room where the ghost organized his lair. The walls were decorated with phantasmagorical symbols, remnants of dark rituals that took place inside. Defying the unknown, they dared to go further, their footsteps echoing in the labyrinths of the corridors. Their hearts trembled with fear as they reached the heart of the room, a place where the barrier between the worlds was getting thinner and thinner. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the hall, extinguishing their flashlights. In the darkness, a ghost materialized in front of them, a ghostly figure wrapped in torn clothes. His eyes shone with an otherworldly intensity as he emitted an icy howl. Sarah and John stood tall, armed with knowledge and resilience. They spoke the words of reason, begging the ghost to weaken his authority over the cinema. He staggered, oscillating between anger and repentance. At dawn, the room was flooded by a sudden flash of light that dispelled the darkness. The ghost's grip weakens, and, with the last act of disobedience, he dissolves into thin air, leaving behind only the echo of his presence. The cinema emitted a collective sigh of relief, as if it had woken up from a long and painful nightmare. The Curse of the Phantom Moviegoer was filmed, freeing visitors from his clutches. As a result, the cinema has undergone a transformation. New life and hope filled the once terrifying halls, as if the darkness had been banished forever. Sarah and John, his bravery has become the object of legends, witness to the triumph of light over shadow. Years later, the ghost of the cinema became just a note in the history of the city. Moviegoers flocked to the renovated cinema, unaware of the horrors that it once hid. And yet, somewhere in the depths of the building, the memory of the ghost is preserved, a reminder that evil can hide even in the most ordinary places.
Located in the heart of a busy city, there was a large and impressive theater. His tent glowed with a strange glow, attracting those looking for thrills and thrills. This theater, known as the Theater of Nightmares, promised an unforgettable experience beyond the imagination. The impatient audience did not know that as soon as they crossed the threshold, their lives would forever be connected to the darkest corners of their own subconscious. The reputation of the Nightmare Theater preceded this. The whispers of its mysterious owner, Mr. Sinclair, and the spectacular performances inside spread like wildfire. Stories about people waking up from a deep sleep, wet with sweat, and haunted by obsessive visions were woven into the fabric of urban legends. One fateful night, a group of friends, curious and eager for thrills, decided to go to the realm of the Theater of Nightmares. They bought tickets to a mysterious midnight performance and approached the theater with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. As the clock struck 12, the doors creaked open, welcoming eager guests to kingdom after kingdom. The interior of the theater was a maze of winding corridors and a strange atmosphere, dragging them deeper into the abyss. As they took their seats, the curtains parted, revealing a scene bathed in an ominous glow. The performance began, a hypnotic dance between shadows and nightmares. The audience was immersed in a realm where dreams and reality intertwined, where the veil between the conscious and the subconscious narrowed. The air crackled with electrical discomfort as the performance unfolded. Ghostly figures appeared out of the darkness, demonstrating the innermost fears and desires of those present. Their eyes flashed with malice, which made the audience shudder. But soon the boundaries between the stage and the audience began to blur. The characters left the stage, Their ethereal forms mingled with the unsuspecting audience. The theater has become a distorted reflection of their own minds, a breeding ground for the realization of their darkest nightmares. The friends found themselves entangled in a web of horror, each of whom faced their own personal demons. One of them was relentlessly pursued by an invisible entity that whispered intrusive secrets in their ear. The other was trapped in an endless cycle of his most traumatic memories, reliving them with increasing intensity. The third friend encountered an evil double, the embodiment of their hidden envy and resentment. They desperately sought salvation, jostling in the labyrinths of the corridors of the theater. But each turn took them deeper into the realm of nightmares, where the boundaries of reality continue to blur. The boundary between friend and foe became indistinguishable as paranoia and terror took over their minds. In their darkest hour, they stumbled upon a forgotten room of forgotten hopes and broken dreams. Within its walls, they found fragments of Mr. Sinclair's true intentions. He used the power of the human mind, seeking to feed on the energy of fear and despair. With renewed determination, the friends confronted Mr. Sinclair, anger and defiance mixed in their voices. They demanded an end to the torment, vowing to break his power over their minds. A battle of wills ensued as Mr. Sinclair struggled to maintain control, conjuring nightmarish visions to thwart their progress. But the friends refused to give up. With each step forward, their courage grew, and the nightmarish illusions began to weaken. Together, they channeled the power to confront their deepest fears, depriving them of the ability to control their lives for longer. An impulse surge of energy swept through the theater, destroying illusions and banishing nightmarish entities into the depths of the subconscious. The theater itself seemed to tremble, freeing the prisoners from his grasp. At dawn, the friends came out of the theater of nightmares, tired but triumphant. Echoes of their harrowing journey lingered in their minds, a constant reminder of their resilience in the face of darkness. They knew that they had encountered an inner abyss and came out of it stronger. The theater of nightmares, now stripped of its sinister aura, was a reminder that the human mind can defeat even the most insidious horrors. The friends parted, forever bound by a common ordeal, knowing that they had looked into the abyss and returned with the strength to overcome their own fears.